Welcome to Compliance 101 by Red Compass, where we bring to you the latest regulatory updates in the ecosystem. On today's episode, we'll be stepping away from the usual where we speak about financial institutions or other financial institutions. While we may already know that financial institutions and other financial institutions have strict money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing compliance obligation. Today's episode will be looking at another category of businesses or professions that also have similar, if not equivalent, AML, CFT, CPF compliance obligations. You may be curious now that who are these businesses? What businesses or what profession requires such strict AML, CFT obligations? This category of businesses or category of people is what we know as designated non-financial businesses and profession, and sometimes they also refer to them as designated non-financial institutions. The next question you may have for me is, do I fall under this category of businesses? So I have these questions for you. Are you into selling jewelry or luxury goods? Are you into real estate? Are you a car dealer? Do you run a supermarket? Do you run an NGO? Or do you offer professional services? Are you a lawyer? Are you an accountant or a consultancy? Or do you offer consultancy services? So if you fall into any of these categories of persons, or businesses, or professions I've listed, or that is also listed in the regulation, then this video is for you. So come along, let's unravel, let's dig deep into what your AML, CFT, and CPF obligations are as a DNFBP. So just like we have regulators like the CBN, the SEC regulating the financial ecosystem, similarly we have the Economic Financial Crime Commission, the Special Unit Against Money Laundering, also, and other regulators also regulating the designated non-financial businesses and profession. We also have regulations like the EFCC AML CFT regulation of 2024, and also the Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act of 2022, the Terrorism Act, and other specific guidelines or guidance that the regulators release from time to time, depending on the sector where you operate as a DNFBPs. So also, moving ahead, what are your obligations? One of your compliance obligations as a DNFBP is obtaining of the SCOMO certificate. That is a certificate issued by the Special Unit Against Money Laundering. So obtaining this certificate is not the start and the end of your compliance obligation. Your business should also ensure it builds a robust compliance framework or program, and not just building this compliance framework, also ensuring that this compliance framework aligns with the expectation of the regulators, and also maintaining that framework or program that has been built. One of these things, or one of the things your compliance program should always have or should always consider, is what we know as the risk assessment. So when you are onboarding or when you are interacting with your customer, it's important for you to properly categorize them into high, low, or medium risk. And after doing that, you should ensure that the proportionate due diligence measure is taken. So take for instance, if you have categorized a customer as a low risk customer, then you can apply a simplified or a standard due diligence. But once that customer is flagged as high risk, you are sure to use the enhanced due diligence. You may go back to our previous episode to see what this CDD categorization is about. It's not enough to also do risk categorization, like I said. You should also, once you do the assessment and the categorization, you should apply the proportionate due diligence measure. Another way to also keep your compliance progress in check is appointing a chief compliance officer. The regulations has also proposed that businesses should have a chief compliance officer that oversees the compliance program, in terms of drafting of policies, updating those policies, reviewing those policies as at when due, and ensuring those policies aligned with the AML CFT compliance expectation. Another thing your compliance program should also have is also continuous screening at the point when you want to interact with the customer. So you are checking the sanction list, the Nigerian sanction list, even international lists like the FATF list, and also the PEP list that are available to us. So also checking this list before onboarding while the transaction is still going on, and ensuring that there are no flags. And once you see any red flag, once you see that the transaction is suspicious, you're expected to report this transaction. So you have reporting, just like financial institutions. Designated non-financial institutions also have reporting obligation, suspicious transaction reporting obligation, currency reporting obligation. So once you do transaction, if you are transacting with an individual and the transaction is above 5 million, you're expected to report these transactions. And similarly to the financial institutions, reporting to the NFIU using the AML portal. So moving ahead, also keeping records. Records could be used for audit purposes, could be used for investigation purposes. It's important that designated non-financial institutions also use the CIA rule, which is keeping the data in a good state, making it accessible when it's needed, and not just accessible to anybody, putting encryption, making it still very accurate and having integrity, and also making it accessible when it is needed. And just, other obligations that may be required by the regulators. Another obligation which most DNFBPs usually overlook but is important is training its staff. So when you have staff, you must allow them or inform them regularly of their AML, CFT, and CPF obligations, regardless of their status, regardless of the units they occupy. They should be regularly updated on their obligations as regards AML, CFT, and CPF compliance. While it may be the primary work of the compliance team, AML CFT obligation is an obligation for all your staff. So training is an important aspect of our compliance framework and program as a DNFBPs. So what are the risks? What are the crackdowns that may occur to us when we do not comply with our obligations? Failing to comply with your AML, with the AML, CFT, CPF obligations as prescribed by the regulators is a very serious offense. It may open us up to administrative fines, penalties, regulatory damage, or even revocation of the certificate that has been issued by the regulators. So we don't want to find ourselves in such situations. We don't want to find ourselves charged for not being compliant, as we have seen in recent time. We don't want to be faced with heavy fines that could cripple our businesses. So it's important for you as a DNFBP to put the requisite AML CFT compliance framework in place so that your company can remain compliant. To learn more about your obligations as a DNFBP, follow us at Red Compass on all our social media platforms. You can check us out on our website. Thank you for coming to today's episode. We hope to see you on our next one. Bye for now.